Jambo mambo familia angu. Mimi ni Eli-Ben-Eli. Habari gani? Karibu. Uh, I'm feeling really nice today. This is a very good day. In America, next week is going to be the beginning of the feasting season here in the United States. There's a holy day that is celebrated here that is not found in Torah or not found in the Quran. It is what you would call a man-created holy day, but it's an honorable day, and it is called Thanksgiving. And in Thanksgiving, people feast and have a good time, and they do it all by way of saying thank you to God. So personally, I feel like if I have a lot to be grateful for. This has been a challenging year, but my God has allowed me to come through it, and there are still problems that need to be resolved that are going to be resolved. The main thing that I am confronted by is the following. When I became ill with COVID-19, it left me. It basically devastated my life, and I'm struggling to get back get my life back to normal again. And it's like COVID-19 is no joke. By the way, happy birthday, King Marwa, the great Bhutan, the great King of Kings, the Capo de Tupicapo, the Emperor of Emperors, the Grand Master of all Pubas throughout the world, King of Nebuchadnezzar, Emperor of Magori County, and only God knows how many other titles he holds in his imagination. Today is supposed to be Marwa's birthday. For the 10th year in a row, Marwa is 34. I don't know, man. By the way, you're going to notice that sound that I've been having in the background is no longer there. I took measures to address it, and by the grace of Allah, it is gone. But anyway, next week is the start of the feasting season here in the United States. Everybody does Thanksgiving. Christians, Jews, Muslims, Hindus, Buddhists, everybody does it. And all that I say is, what's wrong with having a day in which you say thank you to God? What's wrong with having a day in which you look back and you give thanks for all of the gracious things that He has done throughout the year? This year I'm, going to have a very good time. And again, it's because of the grace and the mercy of Allah. My God. And by the way, some people wonder if when I use the name of Allah, that means that I only acknowledge Islam. And no, it does not. Allah is a generic word for the Most High. May He be praised. In lands where people speak Arabic, everybody refers to the Most High as Allah. So, while I do consider myself to be a Muslim, I also consider myself to be a Jew. Today is supposed to be Marwa's birthday. So, technically, today is the 15th. Technically, the celebration of I don't know what is supposed to begin on the 18th. He cannot be celebrating the completion of the Grand Palace of Palaces, the Villa Medillin, where, the great man intends to have his friends from around the world come and feast and drink and eat. Recently I've noticed something that I want to point out to you folks. Have you noticed something? The number of people that are at the villa just hanging around is still a large number, but it's been dropping. And we are told by those who report from Nyabohanse that there are many people there that have been fallen sick to, are suffering from malaria, God knows what else, possibly pneumonia, cold, the flu, diarrhea, all kinds of different illnesses. COVID-19 is still very active. There used to be a saying when I was a little child in my country, before I came to the United States, and I have never forgotten that saying. And that is, you cannot cover the sun with one finger. If you're a little boy and you look at the sun and you position your finger just right, it gives you the illusion that you're covering the sun. You're not covering the sun. The sun is there. The sun is all around you. And the reason that I say that is, I always feel a great deal of pity and compassion for those who are foolish enough to say, I don't believe in COVID-19. I don't believe in malaria. I don't, nature and the ecology doesn't give a damn what you believe. Don't believe. Abba Marwa, the great Abba Marwa, the great scammer, the great beggar king, he claimed that he didn't believe in malaria, yet at the same time he fell victim to malaria. And his mini what's her name? Something Howie, Mini Howie, whatever. Apparently she didn't believe in malaria. She's fallen victim to malaria. Marwa said that he didn't believe in COVID-19. When somebody says something that's stupid, all that I say to them is pray that Allah protect you. Pray that Allah protect you. I took COVID-19 seriously, and I took precautions. I wasn't one of those fools who goes around doing, what is it that the Bible calls it? Lean not upon your own understanding. There are a lot of questions that I had about COVID-19. But I was never somebody who denied the existence of COVID-19. I was never an anti-vax person. Okay, and guess what? I got COVID anyway, and as soon as I was able to, I took the vaccine and will take the vaccine every time that I have to. There's a saying that they have here in America, which is it's supposed to be humorous. My mama didn't raise no fool, okay? My mama did not raise any fool. Science is science. Religion is religion. Running around saying, well, I don't believe in this, I don't believe in God, and that, There are people who may not believe that there are large furry cats, that can eat a human being. If you don't believe in that, test the power of your beliefs. Go to a zoo and climb into a cage with a lion or a tiger, or go to the savannah and when you come across a lion, go boo and tell them I don't believe in lions. It's ridiculous, isn't it? It's like I'm looking at the party, and the party that Marwa is supposed to be having is similar in nature. It is denying reality. It is saying, oh, well, malaria isn't real. Yes, I believe in a mosquito-infested swamp, but mosquitoes aren't really going to give me malaria. They're not going to give me, drinking tainted water is not going to give me Hep C or diarrhea or God knows what else. I recommend that each and every one of you look at the tape that was recently posted by Goat Matata, in which he talks about the impact of malaria and how deadly malaria can be. You know, all that I say to all of you is this: if you want to take a chance on getting malaria, if you don't mind having a cloud of mosquitoes descending on your behind as you hold it over a badly constructed latrine hole, if you don't mind any of that, have at it. I mean, I was looking at a video earlier, and the sky was covered in the sky was full of gray clouds, and I said to myself, you know what? I bet you that one of those clouds consists of nothing but bloodthirsty mosquitoes and flies. You know, how is it going to feel? According to Fellow the Boy, the rainiest month of the year is usually December, and December's about to start. How will it feel when you're standing around in the rain? The minute that the rain lets up, you're surrounded by flies and mosquitoes, and they're stinging you, and oh my God. And then the other thing is this. The receipts show us that the plumber who was there before Strongman 254 was an imposter, similar to the brilliant Bush engineer that Marwa has constructing his Taj Mahal. Oh, by the way, let me tell you something about the Taj Mahal. Do you realize that the Taj Mahal is a mausoleum? Beware of building great monuments. A lot of the time, you don't know that that monument that you're building yourself could easily be a mausoleum. But, you know, the history thus far has shown us that the plumber who dug the septic system and filled it with rocks, and even as we looked, the hole that he dug kept filling with water. We know that he was an incompetent. Look at all of the stuff that Strongman 254 is having to correct. We know that he was an imposter. So, with all due respect to Strongman 254, when people sit at those toilets and pour water to flush down the feces, where is it going? If it's going into a septic system that's already flooded with water, okay, I hate to tell you folks, but a Hep C crisis is on its way. Maybe, just maybe, what made Marwa sick in part was drinking tainted water. We also know that Marwa has been doing the funniest thing that I have ever heard, coming from a man who claims to be a village boy, claims to have grown up in the countryside, surrounded by animals. Dude, you do not eat animals that are sick. If you want to know something, don't for 1 minute think that animals are stupid. Masi and Boca. If you took a dead bird and you planted it in front of Masi and Boca, she could be very hungry, but she would smell it and walk away. She would not eat it. But, you know, the all-seeing, all-influential King of Kings, Emperor of Emperor, Satrap of Satrap, Dukes of Dukes, of Duke of Dukes, this man chooses to not believe in COVID-19. He chooses not to believe in malaria. He chooses not to believe in wearing a mask. And suddenly he comes up sick. Nobody knows what the mysterious illness that he is suffering from is. Okay, in fact, we don't know that he has recovered from that illness. Yeah, and he talks the greatest amount of silliness that I have ever heard. this nonsense about how he likes to go traipsing around on muddy ground to ground himself, ground in which cows, goats, and chickens have been pissing and defecating on. Only God knows what bacteria he has exposed himself to. We know that people who practice a high degree of cleanliness and who care for themselves, wear shoes, don't wallow around in the mud, they tend to live healthier lives. But they say that experience is a harsh taskmaster, but it is the only one that will teach a fool. In time, Marwa will learn. Okay. If you haven't liked and subscribed and supported my channel, don't just like and subscribe. I want you to like and subscribe it, but I also want you to support it. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. If you haven't commented, please comment. I mean, I'm not a harsh person. There are people who say, if you come here, you'll have to be very respectful, or no disrespect. You want to know something? I believe in myself enough not to really care. If you are disrespectful, that means that you are immature. If you make insulting remarks about my old age, it means that you are practicing ageism. And that is, what that means is that you disrespect people that are older than you. And I promise you, if you hold on to that mentality of disrespecting people that are older than you and mocking them and looking down on them, God will give you a gift. He'll give you the gift of never having to grow old. Okay? Let me ask you a question. Which gift do you prefer? The gift of dying young and looking very, very beautiful in your coffin, or the blessing and the gift of living to be, older and seeing your children become adults, seeing your children's children, becoming a grandfather, becoming a great-grandfather. Be very careful to respect older people. And there's people that say something to the effect of, well, if you're going to respect an older person, that person must show himself worthy of respect. God is listening to everything that you say. Okay? God is listening to everything that you say. The disrespect that you show an older person who is not related to you will be the disrespect that will be showed your mother, your father, your uncles, your aunts, your grandparents. Okay? And the contempt that you have for older people, old man, what are you doing, making comments, blah, blah, blah. That, remember that, keep that energy when you catch some disease and end up dying, because if you have no use or respect for older people, then that means that you don't want to be old. My friends, let me put it to you like this. Always treat older people that you meet with kindness and love. There's something that the Bible teaches us, and the Torah and Quran teach us, and that is that we should always be kind to the old. We should always be kind to strangers. And why is that? Sometimes the old person that you may be looking down at may have the capacity to bless you, or to withhold a blessing, or even worse, to curse you. As I have gotten older, I have seen the impact of even thinking, in terms of cursing someone. And the thing that terrifies me, the thing that frightens me, is that a lot of the time, if somebody does something, and this has happened to me, I don't know what happens in your life, but this is what happens with me. If somebody offends me or somebody insults me, and I pray to the Most High, and I tell him, Father, I'm angry. Please pardon my anger. This person treated me in a certain way. Bad things happen to those people, and I don't know why that is, but I've noticed that more and more. So all that I say to all of you is be careful who you disrespect. Okay? I'm going to say this and I'm going to close, but before I close, again, I repeat to you, if you haven't liked and subscribed to my channel, receive a blessing and like and subscribe to my channel and support my channel. Let me tell you something very interesting. A young lady by the name of Jane Kinga came to Marwa's compound, and Marwa took an instant dislike to that girl. One time he was standing at the mud pool, the mud puddle, the cesspool, whatever you call that. He was standing over there, and he saw her. And the girl was walking by harming no one, and he said, look at her. I don't like her. Not that long after that, he and the bush engineer and some other young person, a young man who has always struck me as being a fool, they pulled up that girl and, subjected her to humiliation and questioned her and treated her like a criminal. And when the girl attempted to mention her illness, Marwa, like a god, told her, don't mention illness here. I'm blind in one eye. Don't mention it. In other words, he's blind in one eye, so that frees him of the responsibility of having human compassion for somebody else. Very, very sad. And I made a prediction after, that happened. I said, the wrath of God is upon you now, Marwa. And a lot of things are going to begin happening to you. First thing that happened, not that soon after that, Marwa went missing. Nobody would see him anywhere. He ended up becoming very, very ill. After he kicked a woman off of his property, he became very ill. There have been all kinds of disasters going on his property. He invested a lot of money into building that cesspool. And what has happened to that cesspool? Completely destroyed. A storm came along, completely destroyed it. His home has been flooded. Ian Paris was his right hand. Apparently, he's had a falling out with her and she has moved on. Min Howie, currently sick with malaria. He himself has been struggling with malaria, possibly COVID. God knows what he's struggling with, but he's been very ill. And now his girlfriend has come along, and only God knows what's going to happen. My understanding is that they attempted to put up the gate. There's a Bible verse that says, raise your head, O ye mighty gates. The mighty gates that it's referring to are gates that are blessed by God. That gate has not been blessed by God. Consequence, what happened? They tried to put up the gate collapsed. Okay? And something tells me that more and more disasters are going to come. Marwa, remember that Polish girl and how you treated her. Make amends. If nothing else, just say, I'm sorry. Remember how you treated fellow the boy. Make amends. Apologize to him. Remember Jane Kinga. Remember all of the people who you have treated shabbily. Remember all of those poor people who came to your compound, giving you credit for being some kind of a miracle worker who was going to make their channel bigger. And you took food out of their children's mouth. You took their goats, their chickens, their cattle. And what have you given them in return? Yeah, they've gotten a few subscribers, but other than that, it's not really working, is it? Beware, Marwa. The hand of God is not fully upon you, but it is moving in that direction. I don't know whether you're 35, 40, 50, whatever you are, beware. God is not mocked. And God does not like seeing his children abused. Beware. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for having watched my video. If you watch this part, please go like and subscribe. In the meantime, I wish all of you well. In Marwa, you have Easter here. Repent. Have a nice day, folks.